Okay, today we are building the Dark Eldar Raider. Um, Basically here we're starting at step 1, so we got the main bottom piece of it and the two little parts of the engine. So on the sprue here we're going to be using this piece right here with the cool designs on it, all that fun stuff. And if you look really closely, these two little engine back pieces, they are number 11 on the sprue. They're the smallest of them. So we're going to go ahead and cut those out. And
make sure they're number 11.
Yeah, make sure they're number 11. If you get a number 10, your Raider will it'll probably crash as soon as you put it on the table. We got Eddie filming today and John making comments in the background, so this will be fun. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and glue on these little engine pieces. If you look on here, there's one little notch up at the top of those, and there's one side that kind of has that notch up at the top, so just make sure those go together. Again, using Zap-A-Gap glue because it's freaking the best ever. Yeah, just put some glue on in the corners there. You don't need much, I probably just put way too much on, so. And pretty much just like that. I'll go ahead and put the other one on here and I'll go back to step 2. Okay, so we're on step 2 now, so we're going to be using one of the halves of the main hull and these two platform pieces with the part we already cut out. And I'm just going to cut out the parts for step 3 right now too, which is either one of these fins that you prefer and the other half of this. So on the sprue, we're going to be cutting out this half. Doesn't really matter which one, but this is the one in the picture for step 2, along with this platform and this platform. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut out this. And our friendly neighborhood sail rudders are over here and up here on sprue 2 that I just decided to call sprue 2. So we're going to go ahead and cut those out now. Okay, so we got all the pieces cut out here we need, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece onto the side hull here first. And it basically goes above this line that runs all the way across, and it's kind of got these pieces that stick up that line up with these other pieces here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that on with entirely too much glue because I don't want my crap to ever fall apart ever in the history of ever. Okay. And everything fits on here pretty nicely. Just make sure those are lined up. So you may have to push them forward just a little bit. Just like that. Next we got these platforms. This one with the extra little pieces sticks up goes in the front. And that pretty much just goes on top of those little spines that kind of go up the side of it here. And this part that sticks up goes forward. This is basically like the gun platform on this. And again, if you're going to be painting these up really super nice, then obviously don't put it together yet because you're going to have to paint underneath all this stuff, but I just really am not that concerned about it. Okay, so that's how that one goes on there. And the next one goes around this back piece on top of these ones here.
This one.
And this one's got a flat side on the back here. And this side's got kind of this weird lip thing on it. That part goes up. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this in. It's kind of hard to do at a weird angle, but okay, I'm just going to put some more glue in the back here now. Okay, so that's step 2. Now we're going to go ahead on step 3, which was basically just this fin and the other side of the main hull. And the fin just sets in here. You don't want to use any glue anywhere near it or else it will get stuck because you're supposed to leave it so you can kind of move it around. So you just want to put glue just a little bit kind of next to it here. Probably less than that even. And just some around all these parts that are going to touch the other one.
Oh my god, he put so much fucking glue on there.
These will never fall apart. I will drop it and it will be fine. And these all fit together really well. They have all these little bumps and grooves in it to make them all fit together well. And that just kind of snaps together once I stop dropping this fin. I think that's pretty much, it's almost lined up. It takes a little bit of moving it around. I'll make sure everything's completely together because you might get one side lined up and not the rest of it. So. I think that's about good there. So that is step 3. Step 4, we're going to be working with the second half of the bottom piece because here all gets covered up by it. So this here, we're going to go ahead and cut out this bottom piece, which is this one with all the ridges on it. And we're also going to be cutting out this piece right here, which goes on the back for the engines. And it looks like it's hard to tell which ones those are.
What?
These right here, number 10 and number 9. So it's going to be these right here and the other engine pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those out, as well as the main big engine piece, which is this ginormous one here, just so we can get 2 steps done in one. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so step 4. Basically we're gluing together this piece here to the little engine piece on it. This is pretty much just like the first ones of this we did, except that it's not connected to the vehicle yet. And it's got the little notch on it just like that one did. So that glues on pretty easily. And we're going to be taking this piece here, putting these 2 little engines in them, which is kind of hard to do. So let's be going in there, and then this piece is going to be going over them, which will trap them inside so you can move them around and everything, so you don't want to glue those. So we're going to go ahead and put some glue on there. Okay. And just kind of hold these in place. It's kind of hard to do, just kind of hold them there while you're getting ready to put this piece in. And yeah, there's that. Looks like it went on right. And next we have this main engine piece. Just kind of fits, I think it pretty much goes anywhere in there. There's one little notch at the top. It's really hard to see, and there's one little slot up there. So that's just how that goes in. So let's put a little bit of glue on the inside of this. And just slides right in. Okay, so we have this top piece we put together already, and the bottom piece with the main engine on the back and the movable little thruster jet things of death. So basically this step, all you do is glue them together. So let's just put some glue and the little peg holes.
It'd be kind of hard though. Might actually want to go around the whole thing.
Yeah, it's hard to get it all lined up and just around the parts that it's going to touch. You can kind of put them together to see where that's going to be, but it's pretty much just these flat surfaces. Because we want to make sure it stays together because it's not perfect. At least not this part. That's pretty well in there. Just make sure that it stays because part of it's kind of coming apart in the back right now. Just until the glue dries. And it's Eddie knocks over all of our sprues. Well, there goes the rest of the pieces of the tank that fell into Mount Doom. Okay, so that step is done. Like I said, Zappa Gap glue is awesome, so it's dry already. Now this next step, you get to choose between different front pieces, which don't really make a difference. And you put in the ramp, which you don't glue, another piece of the ramp that you do glue in, some top control panel thingy. So just go ahead and glue. I chose this one here because I think it's awesome.
It's the same one as mine.
So go ahead and glue that in.
Extreme close up. Extreme to the max. To the max.
And that fits pretty much right in the front. There's really no way to mess that up. Although I'm sure someone could. Next up, on the right hand side, we'll be gluing in this little piece, which is like the little edge of the ramp kind of thing. So just put a little bit of glue in here, like so.
Put it on the right piece there.
And just slide this right in. Chink. That fits in there pretty good. The other side I'm going to wait on just because there's probably some glue floating around in there, but this basically slides in, so you actually have like a retractable ramp, which
User joined your channel.
is pretty awesome. Someone also just joined my channel, in case you're wondering. So that slides in there and comes out, which is freaking awesome. And we'll go ahead and glue this piece on. This right here is like the little control panel for the pilot, and that kind of goes back in that little hole in the kind of by the rear rudder. So let's put a little glue on there. I don't know if I'm supposed to glue it or not, but I'm just going to go ahead and glue it. And there you go. That is this step. Which brings us to step 7. Well, that's step 10. We're jumping ahead. So now we're going to be making the main assembly for holding up the sail. I guess there's you get 2 different choices for the aero sails. You don't have to glue the aero sails on because you don't have to use aero sails every time. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those out along with all of the gun pieces for step 8 and step 9. Because that's basically just putting the gun pieces on there. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put these little fun hooky-doos on. I think that's the official term of those. So just a little bit of glue here. There's 2 little notches in the bar. And the hooky-doos go on like so. And like so. There we go. Both of the hooky-doos are now on. Next we've got this piece right here. This little instrument panel, whatchamacallit, hickey-doo, faces backwards towards the back of the ship. So this will just put some glue on these dots here. It's a pretty easy step. Okay, so when you're putting these on, the little keys face upwards, obviously. So there is that right there. Next we glue on this piece with the cool hooks on it. The hooks face upwards, and they go in this little back slot there. So just a little bit of glue there. It's basically just kind of like the track for the rear of the sail. Bam. Looks kind of like a crossbow, but it is not a crossbow. This will go in here, but there's glue in there, so I'm not going to put it in right now. But and don't glue it because it just kind of spins back and forth. But what I did is I took the back edge of my X-Acto knife that I clean off on my sprue marks with, and just kind of go over it because you're going to want to thin it down a little bit. Otherwise, it won't actually turn. When you go to turn, it'll just snap the peg off. So thin that down a little bit so it goes in and out a little bit easier. And move right along to step 8. We are building the little gun thing here, just pretty super easy.
And fun too.
And you have to, while you're building this, you are actually required to make sound effects. So while you're doing this, just pew 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 every now and then, and you should be good. Don't glue the parts touching the gun, just glue the 2 pieces around it together. And they do say in the instructions too what each gun actually is with the picture, which is pretty awesome. Something new they're doing. This one in particular is the Darklands. You'll also have an option for a disintegrator, which I would never take because Darklands are awesome. So that kind of pushes together just like that, except you have to line up the gun part in both of those so it actually stays in place.
Good job, Adam.
Good job. Yeah, there we go. That time worked much better. Just put a little bit of extra glue in there. Okay, so you have a moving gun throw thingy. And now it's time for step 9. You basically just glue this crap on there. So you glue on these 2 little dots. Push this crossbow looking thing that's not a crossbow on there.
It's pretty hard to do that too.
And hopefully snap off everything you're working on while you do it. That is an extremely tight fit. Guess they don't want you to accidentally ever get them off.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even glue mine.
There we go, I got one side in. That definitely could have fit a little bit better, but I guess it's not coming off, even if you didn't glue it. And go ahead and glue our little gun piece in, or actually it just sets in there. Yeah, and this is another one of the situations. It's a little bit tight at first, so make sure it's shaved down if it has to be, so it doesn't snap off. And you should be able to move your gun up and down and side to side, which is pretty cool. And this probably still isn't dry, but that'll go right in there. Like so. By like so, I mean, yeah, I might have to shave that down some more. So that's pretty much it for now. I'll go on to the next step. Okay, in this step we are basically just gluing on lots of spiky bits. Basically you can skip this entire step if you're not using sides or chain snares or anything like that, but it looks cool, so I just put it on even if I don't plan on using it. But sides are pretty good, so on the bottom you have a choice between 2 different ones of these big spikes. That'll just glue on the hole right down there. In the back you have a spot for 3 pieces. The 2 on the outside or for some of these sides here, you have some options for those as well. And the middle one is for the slave snares or the chains. I forgot what they call them in the new codex, but basically chains that kill people when you fly by. I'm not putting those on. And then you also have a whole bunch of these little tiny spikes and little tiny spikes with skulls stuck on them that go pretty much all around in all these little holes all the way around the vehicle, so you can really pimp that out. So I'm going to go ahead and glue on all of that crap because it's going to take a while, and be back on step 11 here in a minute.
Or in a second.
Okay, so we've got the finished Ritter here, aside from the guys hanging out all over it and that kind of stuff, because I will be putting that on after I paint this part of it. Got the spikes all on there, sail and everything moves. I've got the sides on the bottom. And in here we've got, this is after we just set it for about an hour and a half on 450 degrees. And there is the Mountain Dew Raider, so this is what it should look like once you're all done. And yeah, just go ahead and throw this in. We'll go ahead and put that in for 450 degrees. Be sure the base is on there nice so it doesn't fall in. And you can just go ahead and turn that on bake. And yeah, that's it. We're all set. And we're going to go ahead and enjoy this Raider.